If you treat your rest days like cheat days, it's likely that you're leaving gains on the table. So today I'm breaking down 10 things that I do on my rest days in order for me to continue building muscle. The first thing is reducing caffeine intake. Hence the word reduce, because when you've got a coffee machine like this at home, it is very hard to steer away from it. And you've got these coffee syrups that I tend to buy. This Dubai chocolate one, incredible. I know that's a bit of a thing at the minute, but genuinely really nice. Belgian chocolate syrup, vanilla flavor, French vanilla. It's definitely a challenge not to abuse caffeine. Caffeine is often not needed on a rest day because obviously you don't need that stimulant as energy because you're not really doing a lot, or at least anything too strenuous. So one, you don't need it. Two, it is going to affect your recovery just because it's going to generally just stress the nervous system a bit. It's going to elevate cortisol, especially if you're having a large amount of it. You know, caffeine's got a half-life of 5 to 8 hours. So if you're consuming caffeine, 5 to 8 hours before going to bed, that is going to disrupt the quality of your sleep. You're probably going to get less deep sleep, which is not ideal when you're trying to recover and when you're aiming for muscle growth. So it's one of them, like if you're gonna have it, then that's sound, but have it at the front of the day and just don't abuse it too much. Leading on from the caffeine intake, we need to talk about sleep. So it's obviously very obvious. Brilliant, Brad. Now, I'm not going to bore you to death, link studies and speak to you about which stage of your sleep cycle is the most important, blah, blah, blah. I think for most people, they think about getting a good night's sleep before their actual session so they can train well, but also obviously your rest days are important to recover as well, which I think is a mistake I've made in the past personally, because I'm like, well, I'm not training, so I don't need to be that recovered. But if you think about the amount of sleep you're missing in the week as a percentage, it's quite a lot. Something that helps me as well to hold me accountable is buying this Aura ring, tracking my sleep, inputting it onto my training sheets. If I'm only sleeping, 6 hours, say for example, and my training's not progressing, I've then not got to wonder why that is. It just holds me accountable. It's almost like having a coach on your finger. So speaking of tracking things like tracking my sleep, every Sunday on this rest day, I will review my progress to plan ahead with my training week. I'm a bit of a nerd, so if you look here, we have a spreadsheet which details pretty much everything I've done when it comes to macros, water intake, digestion, how that's been, my cardio, my expenditure via steps, my sleep score, readiness score, my resting heart rate, everything is on there, including, how my training's been in terms of performance. And from that, like I say, I'll review that each week, see what's gone good, see what's not gone so good, see what I can improve on. So yeah, every Sunday on a rest day, I'll review that. I can just ensure that I'm actually making progress. My Sunday rest day, non-negotiable, is meal prepping. So I'm prepping 6 meals right now, just so that over the next few days, I actually eat a proper meal and not like reach for a protein bar, combine that with an apple and call it a meal. Right now, what we're doing, we're boiling some veg. I'm gonna boil 600 grams of that, 100 grams in each serving. We've got 2.4 kilos of potato I'm about to chop up. And then I'm gonna cook a kilo chicken breast, as you can see, Tupperware at the ready. It's just one of those things that have got to be done. I do not enjoy meal prepping at all. It's almost like punishment, isn't it? Like you're making food, but you can't eat it. So obviously I prep more than one meal. I'm gonna show you something new-ish that I've been doing. So in this freezer, we've got quite a few things, right? But something in here that's been an absolute game changer are these Ninja Creamies. So I look forward to these every evening. So I've got 6 in there stocked up at the moment. So yes, I did purchase this beast. And to be honest, this has actually been a wicked investment. I was humming and hawing for a little bit, and then I bought it, and I'm so glad I have. What I've got to do is create a video on Ninja Creamy recipes because I feel like I've got it to a T now. Another thing that's super important for me is actually doing things on a rest day that I enjoy outside of training. So right now, I'm gonna stick the football on. We're gonna watch Liverpool against Man City. I'm a Leicester City fan, but obviously, it's a good game. I've got to watch it. So yeah, for me, it's like really important that I actually do things I enjoy outside of training. For me, being a personal trainer, online coach, training myself, I literally live, breathe, sleep training. So I have to kind of get away from it at least a couple of days a week, just so that, I've got a bit of a break, a bit of a mental reset. Like right now, having a few throws at the darts, not great at the minute. 1, and 1, 3 scored. Look at that, that's embarrassing. Let's see if I can find my throw. 20. Oh, I love that 1 today. Hey, treble 20, 81. makes me look a little bit less shit. I like my darts anyway. Of course, we're gonna have to speak about nutrition. So for me, I prioritize nutritious foods, not just on a rest day, obviously training days as well. I feel like with rest days, people can almost see them as like a cheat day sometimes, a time where they can just completely relax. Whereas for me, I'll have my one-off planned meal on a Saturday evening, and the rest of my meals are just my normal staple meals, because if my food is good quality, I'm going to recover better. I think that, yeah, you need to get a balance in life with, you know, enjoying yourself and, you know, actually making progress towards your goals. This though, if you want a meal idea, is absolutely fantastic. What we've got, 30 grams of granola. Shout out to Protein World, by the way. PW Brad, 40% off this protein granola. We've got 40 grams of prunes. We've got 300 grams of cottage cheese, which is actually something that's quite new to me. I always have Greek yogurt, but I've tried this out and actually really like it. 150 grams of mixed berries and 25 grams of cashew nuts. To be fair, for this one, it probably didn't take Einstein to work this one out. Doing some stretching, mobility work, always a thing that should be considered with your training, especially for somebody that's been training quite a while. Always shortening and lengthening muscles, you're going to get pretty tight. So for me, I've got very tight hips, a very tight lats, I've got tight everything, mate. So yeah, just doing some mobility work, even if it's like 10 minutes, you know, 2-3 times a week, that is going to be certainly beneficial. Even if I don't actually feel it, I feel like I'm doing something I should be doing until I get bored, and then I'll get off and do something else with my day. Something else that I used to overlook was actually aligning my rest days with the right day of the week. And what I mean by that is I needed to schedule in rest days where I could actually rest. So before, I'd just have a rest day on a day where I'd be busy at work, on my feet, 12 to 14 hours, delivering loads of personal training sessions. It wasn't much for a rest day. I was absolutely shattered and it felt anything but a rest day. So now what I do is align rest days with days where my work schedule isn't as high and I can actually rest and do the things I want to do to switch off, mentally have a bit of a reset, and physically get a break. Another thing I like to do on a rest day is going out for a walk, especially in the morning. Getting a bit of vitamin D helps set my circadian rhythm. I say that, but then again, I am in like a bit of a woodland area where that's probably covering a little bit of the sunlight we do have today. But yeah, also in terms of recovery too, getting some steps in will help relieve some DOMS. But for me, staying lightly active definitely feels beneficial, not just physically, but mentally as well. I don't like just sitting around all day doing nothing. Personally, I like to do around 8,000 steps at least every day, just because of, yeah, mentally it makes me feel better, digestion's a little bit better, generally I just feel better, which I feel like is a valid, it's not an excuse, what is it, a valid what? A valid reason. The last thing that I like to do on a rest day to maximize progress is actually just organizing my week ahead. I believe that, you know, to maximize your progress with not just training and, you know, bodybuilding, but just life in general, you need to be really organized, know what you're doing every hour so you don't waste any time. It only probably takes me 10 to 15 minutes to organize my diary on that Sunday evening or Sunday morning, whenever it is, and I'm then like a good percentage more productive. I have a better week with my training, better week with work. For me, it's non-negotiable. It's one of them things that I think is a very little task, but a very productive one. Let me know if this was useful, if you do any of these things, and yeah, just like the video if you enjoyed it, please subscribe to the channel. Also remember, link in the description of this video for online coaching inquiries. On that note, I'm gonna go. I'll see you later. Have a good weekend or whatever's left of it. See you in a bit.